All right, fam. So, just taking a quick look at this reading, I already can tell that this has to do with somebody else. I told you somebody was coming in to change the game, didn't I? Now, for some of y'all, it just may be that it was referencing yourself. You guys are the the king kind of cards in the deck because you guys are fixed energy. So it could be that you guys were looking at how you feel and looking how to express that differently. It could be that you guys are looking to go after what what you've been maybe wanting to do for a long time, somewhere in the arts, and perhaps where you were comfortable, where you had everything organized is a place of practicality, but this is calling on you to be more artistic and creative, to look into an area where your emotions are the primary source of where your fuel comes from, as if you guys are not doing that now. But in my eyes and how I see this reading, though, I feel like this has to do with another person involved. I feel like there's someone coming in, or is there someone that you already know? The Knight of Cups that came up earlier, that tells me that you already have an idea of who this individual might be. Now, with the Lovers coming up, though, I feel like it has to do with everything. I think those areas all link in together. And what do I mean by that? Well, how do you feel and how you've expressed yourself, or what areas that you have traveled or you're contemplating traveling now because you've already gotten to a place where you're good. You're feeling pretty dynamite right now. I feel like there is a new journey, there's a new discovery, or something to discover, and it has a lot to do with your emotions and how you feel, and where you allow yourself to feel, or where you've noticed where you get a lot of that information. There could be, or where you get a lot of your fuel from. I say fuel as like inspiration or motivation to do something. Or perhaps even the avenue in which you use to be all that you are. Okay, I hope that you guys you guys are staying with me. I know Aquarians, you guys never usually have a problem keeping up with me, but I usually get to be trying to trail behind y'all, be like, what's going on? But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of layers to this, and the Nine of Cups coming right underneath the deck is quite a big red flag for me. And I feel like I don't think it's necessarily wanting to be seen, but having that person that you can love and adore purely, unconditionally, without any strings attached. The same kind of love that you express to the world. I feel like either you guys want the same thing, or you guys are content with yourself, and therefore it's bringing someone in. So you're manifesting a relationship that gives the same amount and the same high frequency love as you're giving out. So the Lovers is definitely a significant card to come up that will definitely scream soulmates, or not even just a soulmate, but somebody that is someone that's definitely here for a high vibrations love. Okay, so now how are you reading of the Knight of Pentacles? Y'all rocking it. Y'all just definitely feeling yourself, not in a bad way, but it's like you guys are really good. Like you don't need anything, you don't want anything, you're good. I kind of get the vibe that some of you guys may be even a little bored at this moment, not necessarily excited or looking to try to kind of spice things up. But all in all, the self-confidence, how you see yourself, you've got a garden full of beautiful things that you can sustain and have for yourself. But the only thing that I feel like is missing is a new experience, right? It's a different experience. And I feel like that's something that maybe some of you guys may be wanting, or maybe sort of craving or desiring. But then there's a part of you that's hesitant because this area in your life is either comfortable or it's familiar. It's your place of zen and peace. It's your powerhouse. And it took a lot, and I'm not lying to you, it took a lot to build this powerhouse rather. So with the Magician in the past here, obviously you guys are feeling hella confident, but this is a significant card to me too, because y'all are notorious for manifesting things. So I feel like with the Magician coming up, you had the tools to do what you wanted to do with this. Whatever you guys wielded together, whatever you guys were doing in this past air energy here, I feel like there was a lot of not only recognizing your power and understanding how these tools work for you, but how you want to use those tools for your life. So whatever you're using this for, I feel whatever this was here in the past, I feel like you guys may have had an intention and manifested. Now, the Page of Cups is coming up in the present. Like, whatever you guys manifested, I feel like it's showing you in a way that's innocent, that's pure, that's organic. You know, that doesn't come from any other source. It is not filtered through something else. That's not given to you after, like, as a regurgitation. I feel like this is a pure area in your life or in yourself that's kind of giving you what you're looking for. I don't think just necessarily this just only means a message is coming in. Some of you guys may have received some sort of message of love, or rather, you guys have expressed that to someone else, maybe. But I do feel like there is some sort of looking, some sort of studying, or some sort of understanding of something deeper, something emotional, something. I don't want to say primal, but because we have the strength card coming up in the external energy, maybe it has to do with primal. Something not necessarily like sexual or intimate, but primal in the sense of instinctual, natural, again, organic, pure, or, original, where the original source is. And I feel like the Knight of Wands, that King of Wands and the Knight of Cups, that two pairing, that to me looks like someone that's kind of run away with their dreams, and they're fueled by the dream. And I'm not saying that you guys are like dreaming and, kind of going crazy, but I feel like what you've manifested has ended up leading you to something where the topic lies on emotion. The message has to do with some sort of emotion. The messages that you're seeing are emotion based. So it brings you back to here, the Hangman, which naturally it would probably do, especially if you guys are coming from this place of, using your mind and your skill set to be able to put yourself in a very comfortable and stable space, to now noticing that your emotions have a really big role to play, and you don't quite know where that fits with the Hangman. So you're left hanging upside down, trying to see what you need to see from this perspective, because how you're coming at it, perhaps, is just, it's of course nothing wrong with it. It may not be giving you the answers that you're looking for. So you are performing in a way that will give you the results that you need. You're almost like taking this Page of Cups and experimenting with it here in the Hangman. Until you get a result that makes sense or gives you the perspective that you need, that's the only time you can move on. But you are electing, I feel like you guys are electing to figure out what this message is. There's something deeper with this, and it's connected to so many different things. And so your advice is coming up as the Eight of Pentacles. And I kind of already feel like you guys are doing this, looking very, you're focused on what you're working on, what needs to be worked on, if there is anything, period. But I feel like with the Page of Cups, it's really just like hammering out the solution, or figuring out, or working hard to understand what is given to you. Really working hard to understand what you've already got. Because I feel like this is within the garden that's already well established. The Page of Cups is already there. It's just like knowing where and how to use this cup. Like, because I feel like you've examined your tools. You looked at all the things that you've got. You're like, yeah, this is my kit. This is my toolkit. You've mastered the Pentacle energy. You know what's up with that. But now it's the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups. This is the tool that you're picking up and thinking, what is the extent of this? What is the magnitude of this? And that's what you're going to be working hard to understand, I feel like. Understand, to utilize, to wield to the best of your ability, to completely and utterly understand it, to master that. So I feel like with the Hangman coming up the Strength card coming up in your external energy with the Page of Cups, is that there may be I don't want to say conflict, because then the Strength card is not a conflicting energy necessarily. I mean, at least I don't necessarily feel that it's necessarily conflicting. I mean, there is some things that she's fighting, I feel, because of course, either she knows going in that there's nothing that the lion will do to her if she remains calm, or she's already terrified, but she's willing to take the risk and apply what she knows to smooth the situation over. And I feel like either way, looking at the emotion part requires bravery, and it requires bravery, which you've already got, but a sense of control that you have. Like, you can control the depth of the emotion. You can control the how you feel about it, why you feel that way. And I feel like the strength card is stroking the line because it's such a vital element in your life. It's such a vital element that will need patience wielding, which you're willing to give. I mean, if you're willing to put yourself through all of this just to get to the Knight of Pentacles, there's no way in hell you don't have enough patience for this. So, of course, it's a no-brainer for y'all. You're like, yeah, duh. Like, been there, done that. We got that checked. But I feel like, too, with strength coming up, this is a part of yourself that you either have been holding back and you kind of weren't sure what to do with it, and now you are ready to look at what this means, or why you may have had to hold that part of you back, why you've had to look at yourself and see what this truly means. Or this could just indicate that this part of yourself was maybe either dormant for a while, or maybe you put on hold, and now you have the time and patience to understand this to the magnitude that it is. Because maybe there's no time like the present. Maybe the situations are still crazy and still busy and still overwhelming in some areas, but you know that you can take this on now because there's something that's coming up that will ultimately lead you to a different perspective and allow you to use this Page of Cups to the extent of your ability. So the Two of Swords coming up in the Hopes and Fears, I don't really feel like you guys are really concerned about getting the message right now or getting the message later. You know it'll come to you regardless. And I feel like with the Two of Swords here, it's not necessarily about, oh, you're scared about making the decision. You're worried about a decision being made. No, I kind of feel like with the Two of Cups, it's like, you know that it'll come when it comes. If you don't see it, if you do see it, it'll come when it comes. And it's not necessarily like, oh, snap, I got to get this going on now. It's just like, whatever this Hangman energy is, you understand it's going to take some time to understand it, and you're open to receiving it. I feel like with the Hopes and Fears I feel like some of you guys may be like, it's on the tip of your tongue or it's right in front of you and you just cannot see it for the life of you. But that doesn't mean that you are not understanding the situation to the point where you're having to, that you're making a huge circle around a lesson that you could just get straight to the point to. Whatever this process is, it's meant, I feel like you guys have directed yourself to go through a sort of passage to truly and thoroughly understand what the Page of Cups really means. And I feel like, again, I know it sounds crazy, but this message here is seriously and highly encrypted, and you know it's going to take us some time to understand the code. You know it. So I don't think you're really concerned with the Two of Swords. I feel like this is more of like just something that you're preempting yourself to, if that makes sense. Let me see. Why do you have the Two of Swords in your Hopes and Fears? Okay, Four of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah. I straight up do believe that for a lot of you guys, you know this is going to be a process in which it's going to take some time to understand. The Knight of Pentacles understands that there's situations or there's something that he's working on that does require time and effort. And that's the procrastination that he does sometimes, right? He knows what goes into it and he's like, well, let me get my ducks in a row. Let me make sure I'm ready for this. And sometimes it's just that he's never, ever truly ready. But because he's never truly ready, that's what makes him ready. And the Four of Wands shows that there's a platform here that he is already established and is already settled and stabilized. He's got an area where he can expand. And it's he has every direction and every tool imaginable available to him to expand this. So it's like, but it's just, honestly, it's just a matter of just focusing on this and working with it. So again, I don't really feel like you guys are seeing the Two of Swords as like, oh, it's a dilemma. How am I going to choose am I going to make the right decision? Am I going to do the right thing? I feel like this is really you guys trying to figure out trying to understanding that this is no quick feat. With all these pentacles coming up like this, it's not a quick feat. Now, with your outcome showing the moon, I do feel like there is something that does get overwhelming and a little confusing. But this is in its beautiful confusingness that will ultimately bring you back or bring you to an understanding. It's this moment here, I feel like, is what's going to kind of hit the epiphany. It's when the moon is full. So let me see. Why is the moon coming up? Okay, yeah, the Tower. Again, it's a breakthrough. It's something really, really big. It's just something that honestly, is as confusing as it will be, it will click everything into place. If it hasn't already, everything will be click into place. Now, it's something totally unexpected, something that you probably didn't see coming. And I think that that's where the Two of Swords comes into the hopes and fears, where it's like, you don't see it coming. And maybe some of y'all don't really like surprises. Some of you guys may be like, nah, I'm not really interested in being slapped in the face with this. Some of you guys are understanding and know that maybe that's the only way that it's going to come through. It's if I'm solving a mystery and it just kind of, surprise, it hits me in the face. I figured it out. Or whatever it is that, you're going through at this point. But the Tower and the moon, that is something that you are blindsided with, but it hits such a monumental, hits a monumental point in your understanding of the Page of Cups that it answers way more questions than you would think it would. It's really interesting, family. So let's see what the Page of Cups has to say. Why is the Page of Cups coming up in the present? Let me get some extra cards before I pull them of the oracles here. Why is the Page of Cups coming up in the present for Aquarius? The Three of Swords. All right. So with the Three of Swords coming up with the Page of Cups, perhaps this message, this emotional message, has a lot to do with the things that you've previously experienced. A pain or experience where it did interest you to delve in deeper. An older issue that perhaps even was healed already. You're coming back at it for a second time to truly understand the makings or the capacity of your emotional power. Very interesting. Let's see one more. Oh, wow. The King of Wands is coming back up again. I don't know if this means necessarily that this is about a person. The King of Wands could be a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. And we do have Leo energy here with the strength coming up in the external energy. But this does have to do perhaps with how you feel about yourself, your self-esteem, about who you are, your capabilities of being creative, perhaps, where your creativity stems from. Maybe somebody in your past, I don't know, this is just an idea, but maybe someone in your past has said something to you in the effect of not being able to be creative, or perhaps that you are very creative, but you don't truly believe that because there's a part of you that may not be accepting of this Page of Cups necessarily. Like maybe there's something that's crying out to you emotionally, right? And you're not quite hearing it, and everything around you is expressing to you, hey, you should do this. Or perhaps, hey, you're not good at this. But you feel something different. Either you feel that is right or you feel that is different. And there's something that's bringing you back to something emotional. There's always something coming back emotionally. Now, the King of Wands doesn't have to be anybody significant in the sense of romantic. The soulmate can be someone that's your friend, that helps that's clicking everything into place. Is kind of pushing this process forward. It doesn't have to be a romantic partnership, but I do feel like some of this may actually be attached to something you're romantically, connected to. Someone that you have a lot of emotions towards, someone that you feel great passion for, perhaps. or maybe this person feels great passion towards you. However, like whatever artistic thing is attached to it, love was attached to that too. So it's like whatever your love life was, or whatever, however your love life is conducted, it also is woven in with your creativity. So understanding maybe a blockage there may be what you're working to overcome. Something that, you know, to clear the air, to heal, to express some sort of creative emotion. Big message, Aquarius. Big message. Okay, we got a lot going on right here, but let me try again. Oh, wow. Orphaned. Okay. Now, that's a pretty interesting card to get right here. Because it can kind of feel like you may or may not belong somewhere. Or maybe you're in a position where people may feel like, or maybe that you feel isolated. Not because anyone's done anything to you, but because your energy is no longer in the frequency that everyone else is rocking. So, that would mean that you would feel like you're an outsider or out of place. Like either you're higher elevated than everyone else, or the people that you're with, they don't quite match your energy. They don't quite match who you are. It doesn't mean that where they are is bad or they're beneath you or anything like that. It's just that they're not driving right, or they're not representing a part of you that they're not representing a part of you that you're resonating with in this time period. So I feel like with Orphaned coming up, there is a lot of things that are not necessarily in place. And it may not have to do with anybody around you either. It could be that your own environment is no longer making you feel like you belong. Maybe you are feeling isolated in your own utopia. Either way, I feel like you're striving to chase after a new calling, a new emotional calling, a new place of belonging, which may have to do with being with groups or surrounding yourself with people who truly care and match your energy, match your loving energy, like I was saying here. You're trying to find a new space that truly represents who you are and can give you back what you've put in. You can always give of yourself to yourself, but I feel like there's an experience that either some of you guys want to experience, or the Page of Cups, there is a part of you that's saying, I'm ready for something different and something new. And it is going to require me to look at why I'm feeling this way, or what emotional depth, what emotional journey I need to go through. And you guys have from the Messenger Oracle is Trust in Magic. These cards are super shiny. You can see my tripod. But trust in magic, family. And what does that mean? It's really trusting your intuition. In all honesty, magic is nothing more than that mysterious part of the subconscious. The subconscious is connected with your emotions, right? So in my eyes, when it says trust in magic, it truly means trust in yourself. Trust in that you have set yourself a path to understand something that you may not have understood before. Not because you thought you were dumb or anything degrading like that, but because you are wanting to understand it to its capacity. So trust in magic is going along with the flow of what you've set course to. And it's pretty doggone big from the looks of it.